Streets is a mirrors that you can't reverse. Sin prisa, controla y no te despegue y aprovecha la rola. Con ese baile va a llevarte la ola. Sensual, seductor. I've been deep for the special change. We worked very hard the whole week. And the atmosphere was so surreal. It was good energy out there. Fans was good. Coaches was great. Everything was good. To do it. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. Say, move for me. You're the cutest thing that I ever did see. I really love your beaches, wanna shake your tree. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it all the time. Ooh, baby, I sure show you a good time. Our new lecture is about radio, class. And I think what you just heard is really one of the miracles of modern technology, innovation, and inventions. The fact that I can hold this little receiver with batteries and turn it on and start listening to I don't know how many streams of content coming to me wirelessly via what are called radio waves, electromagnetic waves. The fact that human beings invented a way to send sound for miles and miles and miles on those radio waves is a pretty amazing invention. And in fact, those radio waves that first sent sound, later on sent sound and pictures, different frequencies of radio waves, but the same concept. And when the wave sent sound and pictures, it was called television. And television was wireless at first before it got wired with cable, and it still is wired for a big chunk of the distance, terrestrially anyway, for many, many people. And guess what? Your mobile phone is also connected wirelessly for a large part of its connection on radio waves. Different frequency, but nevertheless the same. So this has been a pretty significant technological advance, being able to send things on these waves. So class, this radio lecture is going to be sort of unusual. It's got a fair amount of non-PowerPoint content in it, meaning a lot of audio. I've pulled on some old radio programs, for instance, back to the 30s and 40s, 1930s and 40s, that is. Also, some programming from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Not a lot of it, but some kind of samples here and there, including some Howard Stern, one of his first radio shows. I don't know, probably most of you, I think, have heard of Howard Stern, even though he's on Sirius. What platform is he on now? I think he's on Sirius, isn't he? I may have that wrong. Sirius. Yeah, I think he's on Sirius. Anyway, it's early in the morning now, so I'm a little fuzzy. Anyway, to get the full benefit of this lecture, I'm just going to say this up front. You should really listen to at least 10 minutes, I would say, of any one of these sort of programming segments. If you can listen to more than that, that would even be better, because let's face it, you're never going to do it again in your lifetime, probably. And it will make, I hope, some kind of useful impression on you and serve to round out this lecture. So just a couple of things up front. It's going to be long because a lot of these segments, I may end up doing it in two parts, Radio A and Radio B. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of early in the morning, Monday morning, 5 in the morning while I'm doing this. So this is going to take some hours, so I'm not sure. So that is possible. But anyway, with some of those overall statements being made, let's see if we can move on here. I'm probably going to have to click down here to be able to move this. There we go. So up till now, we've talked about traditional media that are printed, primarily printed, although each has had its own digital version, including out-of-home, newspapers and magazines and direct mail. And we're now moving into electronic media. And so basically what we're doing is, in terms of technology, the flexible type, movable printing process developed by Gutenberg in the 1400s is now giving way to electronic media. And electronic media actually started before Samuel Morse in the U.S. He is the person in the United States who developed a full process. He worked hard on this. He developed the Morse code. He patented the first telegraph, but there were others in other parts of the world, notably in Europe, who had been experimenting with ways to send sound electronically. Not words or voices, but at least some kind of sound. But anyway, 1430 to 1844, I think it's fair to say that everything was actually printed. And after 1844, we see the increased rise of all electronic media. That's electricity. What is electricity? Anyway, you think about it for a minute. What would our world be like without electricity? I guess if you want to try an off-the-grid life for a while, there are more and more people who are doing that. They usually do have some form of electricity, though. Maybe it's going to be powered with solar cells or windmills or something if they're off the grid. But you can live without electricity these days. You can have a kerosene-powered refrigerator, believe it or not. You can heat your home with wood or some other form of burnable type of thing that you get on your own. You can do without electronic media. You can light your home with kerosene or some other kind of lantern. Yeah, it can be done. So the next thing to do is to look at a little film about electricity. And for this, I'm going to stop and pick up again on the other side.